Well, take 5 to care and get your running shoes ready for the annual Going the Distance for Brain Injury Memorial Day Run. Robin Abramowitz with the Brain Injury Association is here along with honoree Steve Zank. So first off, guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And please tell us a little bit about how the association is actually helping and doing work in the community.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so thrilled to be here. Brain Injury Association was formed in 1982 by a family member whose sister had sustained a traumatic brain injury, and she was looking for more help and resources. So with a volunteer group of 23 individuals made up of survivors, family members, and professionals in the community, she incorporated the Kansas Head Injury Foundation, which eventually became the Brain Injury Association of Kansas and Greater Kansas City. Today, we follow that same structure, and we know that having a brain injury can change your life in an instant. And we want people to know that you're not alone, and we're here for you.
And talking about this run, it has been 32 years strong in the Metro and, of course, doing a lot of good, raising that awareness. We're going to pivot over to Steve, who's the honoree for this run. And Steve, how did you get your brain injury?
I was actually kind of unique in that I was in northern Michigan on a project, and the wind actually blew the rental car door back and hit me in the head and knocked me down. And at the time, you don't think much of it because, you know, no blood, no foul, and you get up and you walk away. But over the next 5 or 6 weeks, my mental capacity started deteriorating slowly until one day I got out of bed on a Saturday and it was like they'd taken all the bones out of my body and I fell to the floor. And my wife was astute enough that she called, and I went over to, they took me to the hospital and they said, well, you've got a slow bleed in your brain. We have to do emergency surgery.
Well, thankfully, she was there.
Yeah.
And of course, over the past few years, you have had challenges and successes. So what are some of those?
You know, the early on, you know, you're in a coma, so when you wake up from that, you can't walk, you can't talk, you can't move. And personally, I had the challenge that I said I will not go through the rest of my life with this kind of burden on my spouse. So I made it an issue that I was going to start walking and talking, and sometimes I wish I wouldn't talk so much, but I do. And but it's just, and there was a quote by Arthur Ashe that said, start where you're at, use what you have, and do what you can. And that just stuck with me through the whole thing. I just kept rolling that quote around.
Well, that is such an important quote, and I'm so glad you've stuck with that. You know, let's talk about the Brain Injury Association and why this run is important to you.
It's the association is very important because, and we've talked many times of, you have a brain injury, you don't necessarily see blood, or there's not the acute injury, and it comes over a period of time. So you look normal on the outside, but yet, you know, there's some challenges, some opportunities there that you have to work with, and it's very important that we have a group we can go back together. We have a support group that meets once a month, and we always say that in that group we've all had traumatic brain injuries, so we can open up to each other and say what challenges we have. So it's very important.
Well, Steve, congratulations on being that honoree.
Thank
You were
you.
talking about the support group. So many people have remarkable stories. I saw my friend James McGinnis flash up on the screen, and so many of those people, again, just remarkable stories. So thank you for coming as well, Robin.
Thank you.
Well, you can actually take 5 to care and take part in the Going the Distance for Brain Injury Run on Monday, May 27th. It starts at 8 in the morning and takes place at Luce Park. For more information, go to KSTV5.com and click the Take 5 to Care tab.